Yeah, the scriptures speak about in unleavened bread, the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. Let me show you that. And unleavened bread is not fancy, but it's very healthy for you. Sincerity and truth. And it's not the greatest tasting bread. You know, a lot of bread that people eat that tastes super good, it's got a lot of additives in it, preservatives and all that. Now, unleavened bread is pure bread. It's not the greatest tasting bread, but it's the most healthiest for you. This is it right here. The book of 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter. I'll just go right to the point. Therefore, let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness. And leaven, when you, and it doesn't take much, when you take a pinch of leaven and you put it in the dough, it causes the dough to rise. Okay? So, you know, gimmicks, right? When you bring gimmicks into the ministry, it's like a filler. Just like leaven is a filler for bread, causes the bread to rise. Gimmicks is like a filler. And really, this ministry doesn't need it. It's what is called superfluous activity. It's unnecessary. And the Apostle Paul spoke about when he said about the superfluity of naughtiness. Okay, you can check that out when he said that, the superfluity of naughtiness. A great example of that is these gimmicks that a lot of these Israelites bring into the ministry. You know, they bring in the rapping, the singing, what else? You know, these different type of gimmicks when the ministry doesn't need it. All you have to do is learn this word, learn this knowledge, this truth, and go and teach it. That's it. Now, when we teach, we bring a little flavor in there. You know, we'll tell a joke or two, what they call levity, a little levity, right? To help carry the message. We are, even Yahushua said, he said we're the salt of the earth. We that have this knowledge is truth. We're the salt of the earth. So salt brings what? Flavor to food. This knowledge is likened unto food. So there's even a scripture where it says, have a little salt within yourselves. Let me get that. A little salt. But to overdo it, you know, have salt. That's what it says, have salt. Have salt. But to overdo it is superfluous activity. And it borderlines wickedness. The book of Luke, the 14th chapter and the 34th verse. Salt is good, but if the salt has lost his savor, wherewith shall it be seasoned? Okay. So that's, even Yahushua said that. He said salt is good. Now there's another one where it says have, let me just type in salt and it should come up. Again, salt represents flavor. Nothing wrong with when you teach and you have a little salt in your delivery, but for you to rely on gimmicks just to push the gospel, now that's wicked. Here it is right here. This is the one. I guess it's in Mark 9:50. Salt is good, but if the salt has lost his saltiness, but if the salt has lost his saltness, not saltiness. If the salt has lost his saltness, wherewith will ye season it? Have salt in yourselves, and have peace one with another. Yeah, so the salt adds to the meal. Like, what's an example of salt? That would be like looking up the meaning of words when you're teaching. You go into Hebrew, the Greek, the Latin, or the conventional dictionary. That's an example of salt. You have salt within your teaching. So you teach the scriptures, certain words you have to look up so you can get a greater understanding. Like case in point, the book of Acts 12 and 4, where it speaks about Easter. Easter is mentioned in the scripture, right? Acts 12 and 4. Now, you know, we don't celebrate Easter, which is a pagan celebration, right? So you have to go into the word Easter in Acts 12 and 4. When you go into the word in the Greek, particularly in the Greek, the word there is Pascha, which that's where you get the word Passover from. Now in the Hebrew it's Pasach. In the Greek it's Pascha, which they both mean Passover. And that's what we keep. That's the high holy day we keep, not Easter. We keep Passover. So the word that should be there in Acts 12 and 4 is Passover, not Easter. So that's an example of having salt within you. All right? That's an example of having salt within you. The meaning, the looking up of words. Also, that's oil too. That's the separation between the foolish virgins and the wise virgins. That's what differentiate them. The wise virgins had the oil. What's an example of the oil? Well, I just gave you an example. When you read the book of Acts 12 and 4, you know that the word that should be there is Passover and not Easter. Okay?